Manchester City is going through tense moments both on and off the pitch. Recently, the club entered the race to sign a new defender to strengthen Pep Guardiola's team, marking its position in the transfer market. The attempt to acquire a quality player was a direct response to a season that has fallen below expectations on several fronts, especially after a significant setback, a 5-1 loss to Arsenal. This catastrophic result not only pushed City away from the top spots in the Premier League, but also put the club in an uncomfortable position regarding the leader Liverpool, who still have a game in hand and could extend the gap. Despite the difficulties, Manchester City was proactive in the January market, taking steps to try and turn around its unstable season. It invested in essential reinforcements including Abdoulaye Coulibaly, who arrived from RC Lens, and Vito Reggiani, who was signed from Palace. Both are aimed at providing more solidity to the defense, a sector that has been criticized due to mistakes and injuries. For the attack, City also strengthened itself with the signing of Omar Marish, who stood out at Eintracht Frankfurt, particularly in the Bundesliga, and promises to bring speed and creativity to the team. Moreover, the club did not neglect the midfield, which was also suffering from the absence of Rodri, who was injured. In this context, City finalized the signing of Nico Gonzalez from Porto. Gonzalez, just 23 years old, is considered a promising player and, in an interview, stated that he feels ready for the challenge in England. "This is the perfect opportunity for me at this stage of my career. I am 23 years old, and I am excited to test myself in England. Manchester City is the best place for me to do that, given the world-class talent in the squad," said the young player. But Manchester City's transfer market did not stop there. The January window brought even more intriguing moves, with the club attempting to strengthen its squad for the more demanding challenges ahead. Reports indicate that City has already secured an agreement to sign Andrea Cambi, a right-back from Juventus, who is expected to join the squad next summer. However, Cambi would not be the only defensive addition. Sources in Spain revealed that Manchester City is keeping an eye on Miguel Gutierrez, a left-back from Girona, who has been impressing in La Liga. Gutierrez is a 23-year-old player who has shown effectiveness both defensively and in supporting the attack, with 1 goal and 4 assists this season. Despite Joško Gvardiol's good performances at left-back, City continues to search for solutions in this area. The lack of a natural left-back has been a constant issue for Guardiola, especially with Sergio Gomez failing to consistently impress. The interest in Gutierrez, therefore, makes sense, given his standout performances and ability to strengthen the team strategically. The fact that Manchester City has a strong connection with Girona through the City Group puts the club in a favorable position to sign Gutierrez. The $25 million release clause and relatively low wages make the signing affordable, especially in an increasingly competitive transfer market. At the same time, Liverpool is also reported to be one of the clubs interested in the player, which only increases the pressure on City to secure his signature. What is clear is that Manchester City is adapting to the new scenario, seeking to strengthen all the necessary areas to improve performance in both domestic and international competitions. However, at the same time, the club is also facing off-field challenges related to the new rules imposed by the Premier League. In a move that generated controversy, Manchester City decided to challenge a new law passed last November, which prohibits clubs from benefiting from commercial deals or sponsorships with companies associated with their owning entities. The measure was created to prevent clubs from inflating their revenue, which would be a way to circumvent the league's financial fair play rules. The main reason for City's challenge is that the club believes this new rule represents a form of unfair competition, limiting its negotiation and growth possibilities. The challenge made by Manchester City has sparked a wave of reactions. Premier League clubs were notified about the impasse through a letter sent by Richard Masters, CEO of the competition, in which the Premier League reaffirmed its conviction that the new norms were within legal parameters and that the associated party transaction, APT rules, complied with competition laws. The message was clear. The new rules would remain in effect, and clubs would be required to follow them. In addition to Manchester City, other clubs such as Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, and Aston Villa also oppose these changes, as they believe the new restrictions directly affect their business strategies. It is important to note that, amidst this dispute, City is still awaiting the conclusion of a legal process in which they are accused of more than 100 breaches of the Premier League's financial rules, which adds further complexity to the club's legal situation. Manchester City, therefore, finds itself at a turning point, with challenges both on and off the pitch. In the market, the club is seeking the right pieces to maintain its competitiveness in the top European and domestic competitions, while also dealing with legal pressures that could affect its long-term structure and operation. Rumors of new signings indicate that the club is attentive to opportunities in the market, aiming for players who not only bring immediate quality, but also fit into Pep Guardiola's style of play. The analysis of Gutierrez, Cambi, Koulibaly, and other reinforcements shows that City is not only reacting to the difficulties of the current season, but also planning for the future with a strategic vision. At the same time, legal and financial issues are also at play. The dispute over the Premier League's new rules, adopted to combat the practice of inflating revenue through commercial deals with associated companies, puts City in a delicate position. The club believes that these new restrictions could harm its ability to compete fairly in the market, while the league defends that the changes are necessary to ensure equity among clubs. These two scenarios, the reinforcements and the legal disputes, intersect at a crucial moment for Manchester City. The club is striving to strengthen its squad and ensure its competitiveness on all fronts, but it also needs to navigate the turbulent waters of financial and legal issues that may affect its operations in the coming years. Over the years, Manchester City has shown an impressive ability to adapt and evolve both on and off the pitch. The club's capacity to restart during moments of crisis is one of its most outstanding traits. After a painful defeat to Arsenal, which pushed the team away from the top of the table, many expected City to make bold moves in the January market to correct the course of the season. And indeed, the club did not disappoint, strengthening vital areas of the squad and seeking new talents to maintain its competitiveness. However, despite the acquisitions and good intentions to improve the team, City's biggest challenge is not just on the pitch. Legal complications related to financial regulations and the way the club does business with companies associated with its owners have placed Manchester City in a vulnerable position. The recent dispute over the new Premier League regulation, which aims to prevent revenue inflation practices, is a clear example of how the off-field environment also affects the club's strategy. The challenge made by City against these new rules goes beyond a simple disagreement. The club sees these changes as a limitation on its business model, which, in its view, is a legitimate way of operating. Over the years, Manchester City has used commercial agreements with companies associated with its owners as a way to strengthen its finances, which in many cases has contributed to the club's global growth. However, this practice has been viewed with suspicion by other Premier League clubs who believe this gives City an unfair competitive advantage. The reality is that Manchester City is fighting on multiple fronts. While trying to strengthen its team for the challenges of the season, it also needs to deal with the impact of legal issues that could affect its position in the league and its financial future. The club needs to find a balance between its sporting ambitions and the financial requirements imposed by the Premier League, and this will undoubtedly require careful strategy and skillful management. Speaking of movements in the transfer market, it's clear that Manchester City is looking for more than just signings to strengthen its defense. The acquisitions of Koulibaly, Reggiani, and the potential arrival of Andrea Cambi are clear signs that the club is aware of the weaknesses that need to be addressed, especially after performances that fell below expectations in some key matches. However, the issue of the left-back position is one of the most discussed and debated among fans and football analysts. Jožko Gvardiol, despite his qualities, is still not a natural left-back, and the lack of a player specifically for this role has been one of Guardiola's biggest challenges. The attempt to sign Miguel Gutierrez from Girona is an interesting strategy, considering that the player has been standing out in La Liga and has characteristics that fit well into City's playing style. His defensive ability and attacking power make him an attractive option, especially when considering that he could be a more affordable signing compared to other players in the market. The pressure is high, and Liverpool, with their ambitions also on the rise, is in direct competition to secure Gutierrez's signature. The good relationship between Manchester City and Girona, which is part of the City Group, could be an important trump card for City, allowing for an easier negotiation and a transaction that fits well into the club's financial plans. At this moment, signing Gutierrez could be a smart strategy not only to strengthen the squad, but also to navigate the financial challenges imposed by the league. In any case, what is clear is that Manchester City is aiming high. The club is not only trying to correct the flaws of the current season, but also planning for the future with a balanced and competitive squad. The arrival of young talents like Nico Gonzalez, who confidently stated that City is the ideal place to test his skills, demonstrates the board's confidence in the potential for continuous growth. He is just one example of how City is focusing on young and promising players who not only have the ability to add value to the team, but also to develop within the high-level environment the club provides. Meanwhile, the off-field issues continue to place City in a delicate position. The legal process related to financial breaches and the dispute over the new Premier League rules are just part of the puzzle. The club needs to handle these matters carefully, ensuring that its interests are protected while striving to maintain its competitiveness in both European and domestic football. And despite the tense financial and legal situation, Manchester City has shown year after year that it is capable of overcoming adversity. It's no secret that the club has one of the most talented squads in the world, with world-class players who can turn any game into a victory. Guardiola, as always, is focused on improving the team, but he also knows that the legal issues could have a lasting impact, and careful navigation will be required. However, while the legal battle unfolds behind the scenes, Manchester City supporters can focus on the expectations for the near future. The season is far from over, and the acquisitions made in the January transfer market are already starting to show signs that the club is preparing for a more competitive second half. City, with its adaptability and additions of players like Gonzalez, Marish, and possibly Gutierrez, has the tools to turn things around. The Premier League, one of the most challenging leagues in the world, will certainly not be easy to conquer. Liverpool, Arsenal, and other clubs are proving to be strong competitors, but Manchester City has the experience and talent to fight until the end. The key will be how Guardiola integrates these new players and how the club manages the external issues, particularly regarding financial fair play and the associated party transaction laws. Ultimately, Manchester City is in a transition period, trying to rebuild both on and off the pitch. The team needs legal and financial stability, as well as strategic reinforcements to ensure success in the competitions that remain this season. The future of the club depends on how it manages these challenges, and as always, the fans will be watching closely to support their team at every step of this journey. The journey of Manchester City, both on and off the pitch, has always been marked by challenges and triumphs. In recent years, the club has solidified itself as a global powerhouse, not only due to the titles it has won, but also for the way it has reinvented itself with each obstacle. The current season, with all its ups and downs, is yet another chapter in this story of perseverance. What is now expected is how the club will deal with the uncertainties and pressures that arise, not only in the sporting aspect but also in those related to its operations off the pitch, such as the legal battle against the Premier League. Meanwhile, the activity in City's transfer market shows a club determined to address shortcomings and strengthen its foundations even further. As mentioned, the search for a left-back defender remains a priority, and the interest in Miguel Gutierrez is a smart option to add depth to the squad. Signing a player with experience in La Liga and a consistent performance throughout the season would certainly bring City the defensive solidity it lacks. Moreover, his potential financial accessibility, due to the release clause and lower wages compared to other targets, makes his signing even more attractive, both for the club and for the fans who are hoping for positive news. If Gutierrez joins Manchester City's squad, he will not only strengthen the left-back position, but also provide the team with more versatility and options for Guardiola. Internal competition, which has always been a strong point for City, could be a key factor in elevating the team's performance. Players like Gutierrez, with the potential to shine in a high-level environment, will push their teammates to maintain a high pace, raising the intensity and competitiveness of the team. Furthermore, the arrival of Nico Gonzalez to midfield could be one of the club's most strategic moves. At 23 years old, Gonzalez has a bright future ahead, and his ambition to prove himself in the Premier League is a clear reflection of what Manchester City represents for young talents. He not only offers a solution for Rodri's injury, but also brings renewed energy and a sharp game vision that could be crucial in decisive moments. The combination of youth and experience in midfield, alongside players like Kevin De Bruyne, promises to make City even more dominant in domestic and international competitions. The transfer market has always been an area where Manchester City has shown shrewdness. They know how to identify gaps in the squad and seek the right pieces to fill those voids. Even with all the off-field challenges, the club has remained active, knowing that every move made in the market can be the difference needed to ensure success for the season. With that, City continues to seek new opportunities, both to strengthen its first team and to ensure its youth structure remains well-fed with promising talents. But, as previously mentioned, Manchester City's real battle is not only on the pitch. The club faces a legal war that could have profound implications for the future of its financial structure and its operations in football. The challenge to the new Premier League rules, which limit how clubs can negotiate with companies associated with their owners, is a strategy that reflects the complexity of the club's internal operations. City views these rules as an obstacle to its successful business model, and its resistance to these changes demonstrates the club's determination to maintain its operational freedom. The standoff between Premier League clubs and Manchester City is not only a matter of financial regulations, but also an ideological dispute over how modern football should be structured. City defends the idea that its commercial agreements are a legitimate way to strengthen its finances, while other clubs believe this creates a competitive disparity. The resolution of this dispute could have significant repercussions, not only for City, but for the entire financial structure of professional football. Moreover, the mega lawsuit that Manchester City faces, with accusations of over 100 breaches of Premier League financial rules, places the club in a vulnerable position. The outcome of this case will be crucial for the future of the club, as it could influence not only its ability to operate in the transfer market, but also its image on the global stage. The pressure on City's executives is immense, and they will have to focus not only on the team's sporting performance, but also on ensuring the club remains compliant with financial rules. However, the story of Manchester City has been marked by challenges overcome, and it is hard to imagine the club not coming out of this situation even stronger. Guardiola, one of the most respected coaches in the world, has been a key leader in this transformation process. He not only has the ability to get the best out of his players, but also knows how to navigate external difficulties. Under his leadership, the team remains one of the most feared in Europe, with a playing identity that combines ball possession, tactical intelligence, and physical intensity. At the same time, City's fans have been a constant source of support for the club, regardless of the difficulties that arise. Expectations for the team remain high, but the faith of the supporters never wavers. The club is committed to excellence, and this is reflected not only in the signings it makes, but also in how it adapts to changes and faces adversity. The season still has much to offer, and Manchester City, with its talented squad and experienced management, is well positioned to continue being a powerhouse in world football. While off-field challenges remain a topic of discussion, it is on the pitch that the club has shown its true worth. The pursuit of titles, especially in the Premier League and the Champions League, continues to be the club's main priority, and the fans are eagerly awaiting to see how City will respond to its challenges and what steps it will take to secure more success in the future. Did you enjoy the video? If so, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates on everything happening in the NBA. Also, make sure to turn on the notifications so you're always in the loop. Thanks and see you next time.